The red rocks and inspirational sunsets of Sedona are unforgettable. I'm Carol Yelverton. Welcome to Hungry for Travel TV. The culinary scene has exploded in Sedona too, with all kinds of fine dining options. We're cooking Chicken Poblano. This is a dish that typifies this new cuisine while paying homage to the old. Poblano chilies are absolutely beautiful. They are medium-low on the heat scale. They're thick and have a really meaty, wonderful pepper flavor that you can really taste. So what we're going to start with is a marinade for our chicken. So I'm just taking this Poblano chili. I want you to just kind of see it from the inside as we open it up. It's really a nice green color. Now when these are roasted, they're called ancho chilies. So if you see those, you know that that's actually started its life being a poblano. So I have a bunch here. I'm going to go kind of fast so we can get this in. I'm just putting this in large chunks. Now some people, especially for a salsa or in cooking, do roast the poblanos and peel the skin. You can certainly do that if you want to. For this marinade, it's really not going to make a difference, so it's going to be fine this way. So I'm putting the poblanos in here, and then I'm going to add garlic slices. And again, this is a marinade, so we're really just looking for, you know, like big flavors to come through. So I'm not worried about what this looks like right now. I just want it to do its thing. So I have some oregano. If you can find Mexican oregano, that's the best, but just some oregano gives it a nice kind of a full flavor. Cumin, because it's Mexican cooking and you have to have cumin. Then I've got a little white pepper, and I'm going to throw in here, and lime juice. Of course, lime juice, because basically you don't find any kind of vinegars in Mexican cooking. Everything is done with lime. Just going to turn our heat down a little bit here. It's getting ready, but it's a little too smoking hot, so we'll just move it off here. And so I'm also going to put a little salt in, of course, because that just adds a really nice flavor. So this is just our marinade. I would put more lime juice in if I felt I needed it. I think for now this is fine. This gives you a sense of what this marinade looks like. So it is going to do the job of marinating the chicken for at least an hour. And right here, I have chicken that's been marinating. This has been marinating actually overnight, and so it's really bursting with flavor. So what I do is once I've got the chicken all marinated and ready to go, is I drain it on some paper towels, and then we're going to go through an interesting dredging process. I want something light and crispy and airy here. I don't want to have a really heavy crisp or like a feeling of a fried chicken. I'm going to get that oil back there. So I am taking a couple of things here that are going to help me to achieve that. So first I have egg whites. So we're going to do an egg wash, but it's going to be an egg whitewash. So I'm just taking a couple of egg whites and just really flip them together until they're nice and frothy. And then I have panko breadcrumbs, again, a lighter kind of a breadcrumb because, you know, it's just, you know, the combination of these together is amazing. But then kind of the secret to this whole thing is to put cornstarch in and to mix it together with the cornstarch. So what I like to do, actually, is to mix this with my hands, which are very, very clean, as our hands always are when we start cooking, right? And what happens is I'm breaking down some of the panko crumbs, and I'm just letting it kind of come together here. And then I'm going to add a little bit of salt, because we need salt. And so we're going to do our little dredging and frying process here. So I have these egg whites all good to go. And then I'm just going to take a couple of pieces of the chicken. You saw I had a bunch marinating, but we'll just work with two for now. So these have drained, so they don't have a lot of marinade on them right now, and they're going to be able to really soak up the egg white, which is their job right now. They've done all the marinating they need to do, and they're going to get ready to really have some fun in this egg wash. Okay, and then it's going to go into our crumbs right here. And what I want to do is really build this up. So I'm going to let this sit in here and kind of soak in this mixture. And then I'm going to put another one in here. Okay, so we're going to let it just really kind of, you know, let that work in, let it get settled in a little bit with the meat so that it just, it's really going to create the kind of crust that we want to have on our chicken. So I'm going to move our pan back to this heat. And you know the trick, right? We always just drop a little something in there, and I think, yeah, it's hot, and we're going to go in with our chicken now. Not too hot. It's always trying to find the balance. So it's not smoking, but it's almost smoking hot. And we've got it with this. All right. So this is going to start to do its thing. Cook it 4 minutes on each side. So what happens is you get a crispiness on the crust on both sides of this. And then I always like to use a meat thermometer when I'm cooking chicken because, again, you don't want it undercooked at all. So when this goes in and it's 165 degrees, I know the chicken is done. But a typical rule with like a medium-high heat, doing this kind of thing is just to keep it 4 minutes on each side. But, you know, your stove is all different from my stove, as I always say. So, you know, just do what works. So now that we've got this going here, we're going to clear off this counter. And I want to show you a couple of other things that we're going to do today. So we are going to move off this stuff. And I want to show you how I make a Mexican crema. And this is going to be a lime crema. And, you know, you think, well, we have sour cream, and that's good. There's nothing wrong with sour cream. But a crema is something that's really different. It's a true Mexican flavor, and it tastes different. There's salt, there's cream, there's sour cream. And when you let that sit together, it comes together, and it makes a really lovely, more of a sauce, a gentle sauce on the side than the sour cream that you'd put right on top. So we're just going to go ahead and get that all going. So this is 3/4 of a cup of light cream. We'll put in here. And then I have a cup of sour cream. And these are the initial elements, of course. So we're going to get these in and get them going. And then I have about a half teaspoon of salt. And then I'm going to get my whisk out and put this together. Now this looks pretty saucy right now. I'm going to add more sour cream to it. And what's going to happen is this is going to sit together for at least an hour. So when you make this, you can let it sit for longer and let it sit at room temperature. And it's going to come together and form its own little thing and become a crema. And I just, you know, got one of these food service little containers like, you know, you'd find in a restaurant. I just found this in my supermarket, you know, for like 69 cents. It was simple. But I like to put the crema in here because then I have a lot of control in putting it over the food. But if I were serving this to my family, obviously I wouldn't have it in that container. Now the other thing I'm adding, lime zest. So we're going to make a lime crema to go with our chicken poblano. And so it's going to add just that nice little extra zing and zest of the lime, which we love. And you can't get enough lime in Mexican cooking. All right, so our crema is here. That's in place, and that's going to sit. It's going to be wonderful, and we're going to have that. And the other thing that we're going to use is a poblano salsa. This is going to be made, just moving it over. Got a lot of work today. I'm doing a lot of work to move the food around for you. This is a fresh salsa, and a lot of people would call this a pico de gallo, but my father grew up in Arizona, and when he taught me to make this, it's a fresh salsa. So we're going with that. So what we're going to do is add just about equal amounts of onion, and I have a really beautiful white onion, and the color is so pretty, and it's mild, and it really adds to the kind of the look and the feel of the salsa when we get done with it. Then here are poblanos. They're sliced up. Again, a cup of these. And, you know, it's funny with poblanos. They're mostly mild, and they, again, have this kind of meaty, peppery flavor that is really delicious. But every now and then you'll get a hot one. So if it's really, really hot, just kind of go with the flow on it and, you know, use as little or as much as you'd like. Again, you can also roast it on the stove and peel it, and that's going to kind of lighten it up. If you can't find poblanos, you can find canned ones that you can use too, and that'll be fine. Just use what you can, just make the recipe. I've got scallions in here. Again, some more salt, some nice flavor, and some chopped cilantro. And then we're just going to toss it together. It's going to be a simple, simple, simple salsa. So we just let that all come together like that. And then we're going to put some lime juice. Again, lots of lime juice. And I don't want to put too much lime juice in, but because I don't want it to get really runny and juice, you know, kind of too juicy. But again, as you taste it and you feel like you need more lime, go ahead and add that. That's no problem. It's about all the food tasting the right way to you and having a good balance. Now, the other thing I put in is a little tiny bit of sugar. That's a little secret, don't tell anybody. But what I find happens with the sugar is that it really provides a kind of a counterintuitive balance, but a balance to the salt, to the acid in the lime, and to the really slow heat that you find in the poblanos. So this is just a great little recipe. It tastes really, really good when it all comes together. And I hope you enjoy it. Let's just show you a food shot, and you'll see what this looks like as it's one big picture all together. And you can see how beautifully that cooks up with, that crispy crust. It's so juicy, crispy. It's light and crunchy on the outside and beautifully cooked on the inside. The Poblano lime marinade has just infused that meat in all the right ways. So it's tangy, it's spicy, it's just wonderful. And the lime crema is like, it's just like that smooth, refreshing, kind of tangy flavor that really tastes so beautiful. And then, of course, we have this Poblano salsa that goes with it. And it's just, the total package is amazing. I find Sedona visually breathtaking. Her canyons and hills are filled with a kind of desert peace and a beauty I haven't seen elsewhere. We're going to leave you with a top-down drone video that really will give you a sense of why Sedona is so special. Thanks for joining us. I'm Carol Yelverton. Until I see you again, stay hungry for travel.